Good afternoon. How are you today? Well, it's beautiful out. I'm back from Maryland and get a chance to go out for a short walk. Of the stories that interest me today, I'm concerned about the misconduct from Trump on down in terms of trying to steal the election himself. And one of the best examples is what happened in Georgia. We had a tape recording with Meadows, chief of staff, on the line as well with Trump, basically saying, I want you, Raffensperger, the Secretary of State, a Republican, to give me all these votes that separate me from Biden and give me one extra vote so that I win. And Raffensperger told him up and down he wasn't going to do that. It was all taped. It was plainly interference. There was plainly coercion. There was plainly misstatements and fraud involved. And nothing has happened to him. Now, today there was an announcement, and that's what interests me, of a grand jury being sworn in. But get this. This grand jury is going to investigate what Trump did, Rudy Giuliani did, Meadows did, and Lindsey Graham, all of whom interfered in some way or other in this mess. And this grand jury cannot indict. It can only make a recommendation. And the judge did something that's interesting. He asked anybody who had a conflict, that is either to go forward with the case or not to go forward with the case, to identify themselves, and he excluded them from the grand jury, 23 people. Now, here's the problem with that. Normally in court, you say, do you have any preferences or inclinations in this case? And some will say, well, yeah, I kind of do. I know about this. I heard about it. And then the judge says, well, can you put that aside and judge only the evidence that you see? And they say, yes. But here's another fiction. Grand juries only do what the prosecutor asks them to do. So are we setting up a situation in which a grand jury is going to spend a year and then recommend that nothing happen to cover the hindquarters of the public officials who don't want to be responsible for causing the prosecution of Trump and Meadows and Rudy and Lindsey Graham? Sounds suspicious. So it's a more elaborate way than Bragg. Now, I'm not saying that that's what they're doing, but why don't they have enough now to go forward with a prosecution? What more do they need? The tape recording. At the very least, they have Trump dead to rights, and Meadows is on there as well. And Rudy Giuliani is sort of like a walking suspect. And Lindsey Graham, he just called because he was interested. So that's number one on my hit parade. There's another. Some people will get all excited. Oh, look, the grand jury's been summoned. Yeah, well, it doesn't mean anything. They always say that a grand jury is a sword and a shield. It's a shield to keep anonymous who might be under investigation. Well, you know who's under investigation, so it's not a shield. But I don't know that it's a sword, because it feels like handling a case instead of actually launching a case. So that's what I have to say about that. Now, the January 6th committee has 3 more members of Congress that they want to talk to, and they may or may not hold them in contempt, and then Garland may ignore what they say or not. And I'm kind of sick of the whole thing. And if you take some people at their word, including my former boss, Zoe Lofgren, who's on the committee, what I sense is when they say we can't send a referral, it's just a piece of paper, we don't want to do anything with it. It says to me they've decided to actually do the thing they deny, which is to make it political. Because what else is there? They can't pass legislation in the Senate. They're not going to be able to indict anyone. They're not going to refer to the Justice Department. So they're going to put on a show from June the 9th on, and people may be moved or not. Now, there has been some change in what the people think of the Republicans in Congress to their detriment, and that's great. You got to wonder why it isn't overwhelming. And the truth is because the Democrats just don't fight. I don't know, where is the spirit of FDR, Jack Kennedy? Where is the spirit of great Democrats who were warriors for things that mattered? It's a sad time. And, you can be too cute in politics. People can sense when you really mean that you want to make a difference and when you're just fooling the public. And the Democrats have got a long way to go to show us that they mean business. Now, Biden shows us he means business about the war. But what happens if that's lost before the midterms or before he runs for president? That political coin flips against him, in my opinion. So let's encourage our elected representatives to actually do something, to put the heat on Sleepy Garland, and to demand that we go forward and make the information available. We don't need a sound and light show. We need some action. Also, I'm glad to say Holly today, I was with her and she was doing what's necessary to get ready to leave the hospital. Her strength is coming back slowly and she has some pain and she's working that out and balance and things like that. Also, somebody is giving us a real hospital bed to replace the bed that we put in place for Holly when she comes home. And we put in a ramp, but today she was practicing walking on steps, so the ramp may just be an additional accoutrement to remind us of, if you will, the campaign to free Holly from Johns Hopkins. So that's all I've got today. Thank you for your thoughts and your kind letters and whatever gifts you've sent us. We appreciate it. All the best. Bye-bye.